Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. Thank you for taking time out of your busy day to learn more about this very important issue that's critical to small business, especially in today's day of business regulation and also limited productivity when issues like this occur. So I appreciate you being on here, and we'll have a lot of good information for you, some takeaways as well. A little bit about me. So I've been in the managed IT services field for the last 11 years. 20 years of my career spent in management, sales, and leadership. But mostly my passion has been in working with small business executives to help them strategize about their business and provide technology that's going to help them. And over the last several years, security issues have been plaguing small business more and more. Small business is not, omitted from any type of malware, spyware, or ransomware that's out there. So my job is to work with the business executives to find ways to better secure their business and keep their business running in the event that something does happen. So what we're going to cover today is a few bullet points. Is the number one security threat to your business. There's one threat that's more prevalent than any other ones. You will learn what exactly is a cybercrime and how they will occur. It's not if they will occur, it's how they will occur. Every small business has some sort of issue when it comes to security. Also, why firewalls and antivirus is just not good enough anymore. And then at the end, you're actually going to get 8 protections that you can implement right now for your business to better protect it and to move forward. So ultimately, we want to cover how you do not get exposed and you're not the sitting duck out there. Try to make it hard for cyber criminals to get in. How make it harder for them, and obviously protect your baby, the business that you've grown. So at the end, there's also a free bonus for everybody that's attending. I'm going to reveal how you'll be able to get a security audit for your business and also an acceptable use policy. That'll be free of charge, so stay tuned at the end for more information and details on that. So let's get moving here. So security threats continue to evolve. It's just incredible what we're seeing out there. Last year, there were 400 million known malware instances, and that is the most common form of attack. Not these Trojans or viruses. Mostly it's malware coming in through different ways, through the internet, through email, as well as other exposures that are out there that we'll get into today. $73,000 is the estimated cost if a network to a small business or a mid-sized business if an intrusion were to occur. It's a lot to do to clean it, wipe it out, and reload, plus the lost productivity time and possibly lost revenues that you'll experience. And 57% of businesses have suffered from a malicious breach or attack. That's 57% of the businesses that are out there now. And I will tell you now that some of the ransomware that's out there has crippled business, and there's actually a percentage of around 12% that never recover and actually go out of business because of these issues. So a lot of IT is very complex. Technology is getting more complex. You can't do it yourself anymore. There's no way around it. It's a complex world that we're living in, especially in the business world, where especially when 50% of companies out there support iPhone or Android devices. More iPhone is more relevant. So now you're giving your employees the power to access your company email and your company data from their smartphone, and who knows what they're doing on it on their personal time. Cloud, great marketing name, by the way. 53. Whoops, sorry about that. Some sort of audio glitch. 53% of businesses now can access some sort of cloud application from anywhere, from Wi-Fi, with laptops, tablets, and then smartphones. Scary one at the end is 50% passwords are factored in for the security. 65% of end users use the same passwords for everything they have at home, as well as at your business. That's a cause for concern. So let's jump into these things. What is the single biggest security threat to your business today? Anybody want to guess on that? That's a pretty easy one, and that's people. It's you and your employees. You and your employees are the biggest threat. Reason being, human error. We're all human. We all make mistakes. We all click on things that are probably not supposed to be clicked on, and half the time it's because we're not trained and we don't know any better. But there's also a lot of other things that happen with pop-ups, being impatient, but also, a lot of hackers and these cyber criminals are getting smarter and hiding things a lot more clever. So let's take a look at ways that you and your employees. So first, 50% of people store their passwords in a spreadsheet right on your computer. 27% of them write them on paper. So how many of you out there have a Post-it note sitting in your desk drawer or on your laptop with some sort of password or password reminder? That right there is a big no-no. There's actually software that you can purchase that will give you your passwords, and you have to answer security questions in order to get there. So if you get locked out of your laptop or your PC, you can actually access it. We're working currently right now with a nursing home, which multiple nurses. They have about 100 employees. A lot of them are nurses, and 3 or 4 nurses might use the same laptop that goes from exam room to exam room, and they forget their passwords all the time. So we've implemented a software that will remind them what their password is. No more writing them down on Post-its or anything like that. We talked about it before. Over a third use the same password, a very similar one, for work or personal account. So they hack into, somebody hacks into somebody's home, and then they find out they work at your company. There's a pretty good chance they might try to hack into your network as well. One of the biggest ones I see is just a lack of awareness that's out there to these issues that are occurring, and nearly double people that do so don't understand the potential risk of what they're doing. So a lot of things that you can do is change people's habits, change your employees' habits to be able to help them control what they're clicking on and what they're going to. One of the things I want to say is that a lot of small businesses say that, hey, this can't happen to me. I'm a small business. It's not going to happen. So that's why I wanted to hit that. We're small. Nobody would bother us, right? No one's going to hack into us. That's wrong. The cyber criminals, a lot of the ransomware that's out there is just searching via IP address. Doesn't matter if you're Northrop Grumman or ABC Healthcare or PDQ CPA firm. It doesn't matter anymore. If you have 5 employees or 5,000. So cyber criminals will go after everybody to gain information, to gain money, and to get more money from other people. So what exactly is a cyber crime, and how do they actually occur? So we've touched on a couple different things, but a lot of people look at cybercrime as being, oh, it's coming from Asia or Russia or some third world country. At least one of your employees will just in your office will click on anything. So any type of pop-up, any type of email, they're again oblivious to everything that's going on. So they'll just click on it. There's at least one employee in your organization right now that is doing that as we speak. So a lot of the ransomware is not coming in via hacker, somebody trying to hack into your network physically through your firewall or anything like that. It's coming in through other means. That's most likely the internet and email these days. Hopefully none of you have seen this. This is a big thorn in the side of any IT provider. And for you as a business executive or in your business, this is CryptoLocker. What happens is if you get the CryptoLocker virus, this pops up, which means you would need to pay to retrieve and have your files released. So imagine if you got CryptoLocker on your server, on your company server, that would have, I don't know, thousands of files. How much money would that cost you? How much time would it cost just to wipe, reload, and start from scratch? Could you do it? That's a big question. The cost alone for CryptoLocker is extraordinary. People are using, the only way you can get out of it is using Bitcoin to pay, and it's untraceable, and they're tracing back. Those are being traced back to third world countries, Russia, China, as sources. But there's nothing the U.S. government can do in that because they are overseas. So you need to protect yourself against these issues. Small businesses, to me, from my experience, are the low-hanging fruit because, one, the Fortune 100 companies, they have a large budget. They will throw hundreds of thousands of dollars towards securing their system. You know, large healthcare hospitals are even exposed to them. MedStar Health System had an issue. They're a large healthcare provider. Imagine the HIPAA violations they're getting. Now take yourself in your small medical practice. These things can happen, and MedStar, who's gigantic, they have an enormous budget to be able to handle these issues. Small businesses don't have that budget, so they either have no security protocol in place, or they have very basic, using internet providers' routers or basic entry-level firewalls, and only having one bullet to shoot out of their gun to prevent these things. What we talked about before, and what we'll get into, is antivirus and firewalls are just not good enough anymore. Breaches are very common. 1 in 5 businesses experienced a malicious attack last year. That's through the National Cyber Security Alliance. We talked about malware, the employee error, and the hacking piece. I look at the hacking numbers actually reducing. The biggest one, again, is that malware and that employee error number that's growing and making these breaches more and more common. So why are the firewalls and antivirus not good enough? So for one, there are probably multiple, I would say almost 100 different types of antivirus software out there. If there was a silver bullet, there would only be one antivirus company providing that type of protection. So there isn't. So let's get into that. So malware, here's why basic business class entry-level firewalls are not good enough, is that because malware there is always changing. The algorithms are always changing. CryptoLocker, the issue with that was that the algorithm changed so frequently and on a daily basis that business class entry-level firewalls weren't able to stop it. 82,000 new malware threats are being released every day. So basic firewalls are not being able to keep up with it. If you don't have an IT provider that's able to monitor these things and keep up on that, you're exposed. If you have an internal IT person and it's just one person, he or she's not going to be able to keep up with this stuff. You really need somebody to partner with to help with your business's security. Bring your own devices. Holy smokes! I don't know if any of you have this for your business. To bring your own device is basically you're allowing your employees to come in with their iPhone or their Android device and use them for company business, email, data, or even to access your network using their mobile devices. So if you're allowing them to do that, you actually need to have some sort of policy in place, a mobile device management policy to ensure that you can actually wipe your corporate data if the device is lost or stolen. The biggest thing is if you allow your employees to come in with their own devices, a lot of times you're not legally allowed to wipe their data unless you have some sort of policy in place. We'll get into this a little bit more as we go along. Social media is another problem. We obviously know in regards to the productivity downtime of employees, what a time drag it is. Social media, when you're looking at Facebook or Instagram and Snapchat, most businesses will have their employees on Facebook or Instagram once a day. The time that they spend is staggering. So you're paying your employee to spend less than an hour. 39% of your employees are spending less than an hour on social media, where you have 29% spending between 1 and 2 hours a day. Really, folks, I think you should have a policy in place where they can't get on social media at all. However, we try to be nice and things like that. Social media is a hole in the game, if you will, as well. Also, a lot of malware comes in through social media, so you need to be aware of that. But the productivity drain on your company is probably the biggest issue here. So let's get into 8 security protections you can implement right now to better protect your business. These are things that certainly can help you today. Let's start with number 1. Implement an acceptable use policy. So when you hire a new employee, or even today, if you don't have this in place, you can implement it and distribute this to your employees. If you provide them with a laptop, a workstation, the internet in the building, or mobile device, if you provide them any of those things, you should have an internet acceptable use policy. Maybe you want to be a nice person. You might want to say, you're allowed to hit social media during your lunch hour only. That needs to be in place. You should also have that, this is your property. So having that in place is important from a human resources standpoint. If you're small, where you don't have an HR person, you really want to talk to your IT partner in regards to putting one together. If you're a larger organization, this is something that should be in place. If you're an IT director, put one of these in place for the employees. Number 2, protection. If you allow your users access to the network, passwords need to be in place everywhere, not just on your desktop or your laptop. If you have access to one of your applications, one of your primary business applications, whether that is on a server or offsite at a data center somewhere in the cloud, you should have some sort of password to access that. And then encrypt and password protect any mobile devices. We'll get into the mobile device a little bit more. There's one thing you can do to ensure mobile devices don't come back to bite you. But passwords should be changed. You should have a password policy in place to be able to change passwords. A lot of businesses that I talk to, they say, Keith, the problem with having the passwords changed is people forget them. I get it. I've forgotten mine before and had to do a reset. However, like I talked about earlier, you can get software that will allow them to remind them what their password is through security questions, or have your IT person reset them. It's better for your business to do that now. Maybe spend, have that person have a half hour of downtime while your IT person resets everything, than to have, days of downtime or ransomware or having to pay somebody to release your files. Number 3, proactive management on your network. No more set it and forget it. So a lot of businesses that I run into and I encounter, they have their PCs and their servers just automatically pushing out updates and everything. They don't have anything on their firewalls, I can tell you that now, but that is a no-no. There's a lot of updates that Microsoft pushes out that your device doesn't need that could really expose you. You really want to have somebody proactively patching and monitoring your devices. Third-party software as well. So your Java and your Adobe Flash, they're easy entryways into bringing malware into your business, because a lot of these malware hackers and cyber criminals, what they do is actually they get in by putting a bogus Java pop-up. You need a Java update. Your employee clicks on it, boom. Now all of a sudden you have a malware or some sort of ransomware on your network. Firewalls are a big one. The patches, updates, support, security need to be put in place. The gateway protection, everything needs to be put in place, live, updated, to help prevent those 83,000 a day different types of malware from getting in. Number 4, this is almost another subject that we could spend probably another hour on, but backup. I hate using the word backup because a lot of businesses state that, oh, I've got everything backed up. Well, that's wonderful, but what happens if you get this virus? Are you able to wipe and start from scratch and restore from previous times that you had that virus or malware? Meaning, can you shut everything down, rewipe and reload with very minimal downtime? Most businesses say no, because there's still 70% of businesses out there that are using some sort of just tape backup or just an external hard drive. That's only backing up your data. And if it gets corrupted, a lot of times the software that's driving it doesn't allow you to do that. On top of that, you can't test either one of those medias. You should be testing your business continuity plan on a monthly basis. And what I mean by business continuity is that if something happens, so say you get CryptoLocker, you should have a plan in place where your IT professional can shut it down, wipe, reload from the previous state, and then go from there, and then have you back up and running within an hour. If something is really threatening and really bad, like a very serious ransomware or malware or attack, shutting it down, being able to access your data at a data center until you get your network back up and running, which could really be a week, 2 weeks. Having that in place is imperative. The other piece that good business continuity plan puts in place is against accidental deletion or corruption of your network. That's just an added bonus. Number 5, bring your own devices. Again, attractive. It's really easy just to say, boy, I don't want to pay for having a cell phone with a data plan and having to deal with that inventory. Most business owners and executives look at that and say, boy, that's a hefty cost. The problem is that you don't have ownership over those devices, so you don't have control over what people are putting on and accessing on those devices. With your own, if you provide your own device, one, you can lock those devices down, and then you can wipe without permission if it's lost or if that employee is terminated. You can wipe that device remotely without even being on site. You can obviously confiscate that equipment, reassign it to somebody else. And if you talk to like a Verizon or a Sprint, T-Mobile, whoever you might want to utilize, they have attractive business plans that will help you with a pooled data plan. When you look at the cost of buying those for your employees versus the consequences of them bringing in their devices that who knows what they've been accessing, it's an easy sell. Number 6, get a real business class firewall, not just some off the shelf you can go to Best Buy and get, or even some entry level firewall. You should put a good investment into your firewall that has not only just the firewall keep people out, but intrusion protection, gateway protection, and also scanning, antivirus. It's just that second layer of protection. So you'll have your antivirus as your in-house level of protection and malware protection. Then you have a firewall, which is your second layer of protection that prevents you getting from the outside. We vet out a lot of different security companies. Cisco, obviously, most people know Cisco. They make a small business product through Meraki, which we're an authorized partner with, that we recommend for our clients, as well as WatchGuard. So we focus on two different brands, but we really love the Meraki product. The reason being is that we can actually see and get really great analytics on that social media piece we talked about. How long are your employees on social media, giving you reports, but also saying, hey, you've been on social media for 4 hours this day, or 10 hours last week. We don't pay to be on social media. But more importantly, it does provide that extra layer, a true business class firewall with all those capabilities built into it. That's vital. Number 7, email and security. So we talked about antivirus on your PC level, on the local level. Your firewall is blocking things before they get through, but they still have gotten to your building. Somebody's trying to attack you. Spam and cloud-based security. What does this mean? So a lot of the malware, we talked about it earlier, a lot of the malware that comes in is coming in through your internet, through pop-ups, social media sites, just regular news sites that are out there. You look at Yahoo and you watch those pop-ups, it's crazy. Click on a news article, forget it. But email as well. So what happens is that your employee, that one employee that clicks on everything, the email comes in that says, hey, you got a package from UPS. They click on the attachment. Well, that's actually ransomware. It's a bogus email. And what happens is that ransomware now goes back out to attach itself to the host to be able to download that ransomware and malware onto your server, PC, into your network. So you should have, one, spam filtering that's going to help remove viruses and these phishing attacks. They do a decent job, but some sort of cloud-based security should also be in place where once somebody clicks on that pop-up on the internet or on that email, when that goes back out to connect with the host, that you have a cloud-based security that blocks that from reaching the host. That will filter out another 90% of the malware and ransomware that's out there that may have gotten through. It is paramount. It is, I tell you, from a standpoint, I'll also give you a statistic. Our average number of of tickets relating to viruses and malware went down about 80% when we implemented cloud-based security as part of our managed service to our clients. 80% down. Web filtering, we went into that a little bit in regards to when you put a good business class firewall, you should have the ability to put in web filtering as well as great analytics to control what websites your employees are going to and block those employees from going to those sites in the first place. And then also be able to get the analytics to say, this employee is spending way too much time, shopping for himself, or on the social media sites. Boost your productivity, but the biggest key is to control what your employees are accessing. So how do you do it? Those were the 8. So how do you do this? How do you protect yourself from these things? Obviously, implementing those 8, that'll do it. So I want you to ask yourself these questions. This is your leave behind. Write this down. We will email this presentation out to you so you can refer back to it. But these are questions you need to ask yourself about your business. One, what is lacking in your security right now? Do you know what is lacking in your security right now? If you outsource IT to an outsourced IT partner, can they tell you what's lacking in your security right now? Does your in-house employee know what's lacking in your security right now? Ask that. That's a big question. How are your employees using your company-owned devices? We went into that pretty thoroughly today, to bring your own devices, the smartphones, the iPhones, the Androids. How are they using it? Are they accessing it for email, company apps, or actually accessing the server for data? What third-party cloud apps are you using, and how are they protected? Do you have a reliable business continuity solution in place? And if something bad happens, can you restore quickly, or be able to get back up and running, or be able to access your server at the data center while you get things cleaned up? And whose job is it to make sure your network is protected? And how do they know they're doing their job? Obviously, everybody that's on this call is worried about security, or you wouldn't be on here. But really, if you're responsible for your business, it's your job, but you've hired somebody to make sure your network's protected. Are they doing their job? Are they capable of doing it? I've seen a lot of times where I've walked into a business, they've had an internal IT person. That person is fantastic, knows their stuff. However, they get so overwhelmed with day-to-day things that sometimes things slip through the crack. They can't keep up on everything all the time. That's where an outsourced IT partner to help them with these issues is really a good benefit for you, but also maybe help you offset some of the other issues that might be occurring in the business, and be able to allow that IT person at Sharp to get you the answers you need. So I want you to have a 3-step action plan coming out of this. So if you had more questions and answers in regards to those questions we just went through, you need to get a threat assessment done. You need to have that done right away to find out where the holes are in your network, where you're exposed, where you're vulnerable. 2, and then based on what's discovered, is put an action plan in place. So it's great that, hey, I've got 80% risk. What do you do to get down from 80 to 20? What do you do to mitigate that risk? And what do you do to make sure your operation is protected? And 3, have an ongoing maintenance and proactive plan to make sure that you're even more protected. Don't set it and forget it. That's, like I said in the beginning, that's not viable anymore. So I'd like to help. If you don't have, if you've asked yourself some questions and you're, I don't know, even more concerned, at the end of this than you were in the beginning, I'd love to help. Like I said, I've been doing this 11 years, and this is one of the things I've really helped with businesses, and my engineers have helped deploy. So how can we do it? I'll give you a little background. 1, give you that threat assessment. We can do a network security assessment and be able to evaluate your entire network, from servers to workstations to the mobile devices to those firewalls and routers and access points. Review your backup and your business continuity, see what's in place, and really kind of see where your holes are. The report you will receive will actually show you what your risk score is. It's 0 to 100. If you have a low risk score, you can rest easy that, hey, your network's in great shape. It's higher, then we need to come up with a plan. By the way, we will do that at no charge. We provide that free to our customers on a quarterly basis through our quarterly business review, but any potential clients will do that as well for no charge. But there are a couple caveats that I'd like to get into. For one, three things you need to know is, one, I can really only work with 10 companies over the course of this summer, just from a time standpoint, but also there is some work that needs to go into this at the end of the day. So two, there's no obligation to buy or do anything. I could do the threat assessment, and you could walk away with the information and deploy it yourself, or have your IT person deploy it. We'd love to be your partner, but there is no obligation to do that. And I want to make sure you understand that this is by application only, so that way, one, we can have a conversation over the phone just to make sure I can actually help you before we book any time to be spent on site together. There's a URL down at the bottom. You can go to our website, which is osisit.com, and then just /network-security. There'll be a form in there. Fill it out, and then I'll get in touch with you. We're only going to take the first 10 on a first come, first served basis. I'll reach out to you, and we'll make sure that we have questions answered and see how we can help you, and make sure we can help you before scheduling anything on site.